In a big judgment, the Jamaican Court of Appeal has ruled that the Kensington Primary School in St. Catherine breached the constitutional rights of a girl whose parents enrolled her in the school. That was back in 2018, when the school said the child's dreadlocks would have to be cut for her to attend the school. Now, the Court of Appeal's ruling is a vindication of Dale and Shireen Virgo's 6-year fight for justice for their child after the Supreme Court had ruled against them in 2020. Well, the Court of Appeal has said the child's right to freedom of expression had been violated, along with her right to be treated equitably by a public institution. But the court also said her right to education, right to privacy and family life, and right to religion had not been violated. Thank you so much for joining us. This is All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson-Miller. Later on, we're going to be talking in some more detail about the court ruling and its implications for our schools and society. We have with us in studio Isaac Buchanan, who is part of the legal team representing the Virgos. We also have Sonia Stanley Nayo, well-known cultural expert. We'll have with us as well on Zoom Linvern Wright, well-known educator. Before all of that, though, let's hear from Shireen Virgo, who I spoke to earlier today.
July 2018, the first day of summer school was when we took her, to get familiarized with the whole, compound. On that day now, the first time I actually exchanged words with the then principal of the school. I can't remember her name, but Miss Francis, right? So I believe the teacher had pointed out to her that, she indeed had locks. Because, the way how I groom her hair, it's really hard to tell. It's done very neatly. When she found out that she had locks, it was still in the middle of the school, but she pulled me over one side and she said, Mommy, we don't wear locks at this school. So I was a bit taken aback because I didn't know that was still a thing. So I said, excuse me, this is not the first time you're seeing my daughter. We're kind of in the latter part, heading to September, it's not an option for me to go find another school and go through the entire registration process again and all of that. I asked her what's the reason behind not allowing locks inside her school. That was when she would have said that in previous times she would have had to take students out of class to wash their hair because Rastas don't keep them hair clean and it is susceptible to junjo and lice. And so I said, no, my child's hair is clean. You don't have to worry about that. So she said, no, Mommy, it's a no go. We don't accept locks. So I said, okay, on what grounds do you accept locks then? Because my child's locks is not going anywhere. Told her, I reassured her that, my child's hair would always be clean. She said no. She herself have to take kids out of class to wash hair. So it was then that the altercation kind of developed.
You got upset, you were angry.
We were back and forth for quite a while about hygiene, and I told her that everybody here needs to wash. I mean, it's not Rasta alone to wash hair. Everybody, she was wearing her hair low. I even said to her, your hair needs to wash too. I even remember at the time I asked her, so not even for religious reason you don't take Rastas in your school? She said no. So I left it, and that was when I was pregnant at the time, so I was really, really upset. Big altercation in the middle of the school. It was so embarrassing. Went outside, called my husband, started crying, and I said, I can't uproot my life right now. I already have a plan. She was supposed to be here while I was, pregnant. I didn't want to leave St. Catherine every morning to go into Kingston to drop her off. So
tell me why you were crying, though.
I'm not one for altercations. That's one, first of all. Secondly, to be called out and pretty much ridiculed for being nasty, it's quite distasteful. I've never been classified as nasty. I keep myself very well kept. No child of mine is going to be walking around, looking indecent. So it was quite a hard pill to swallow to know that you just because kid had locks or my family has locks, you think that we're nasty people. And that is not the case.
So a lot of people that said, okay, let me just find another school. But you guys went public with it. You spoke about it.
As I said before, the process takes a while, right? Finding another school at this late stage would have been it would be difficult. I wouldn't say impossible, but difficult.
For convenience, you wanted to get her into the school.
Convenience.
She was how old at the time?
She was 5 going 6.
Did she understand what was happening?
Not at all. During all of that, they gave me the ultimatum that I have to cut her hair or find another school. When I got home, I told my husband, well, we know we're not cutting her hair. So, I was even saying to him, all right, let's just try and find another school. I know we had deferred from St. Andrew prep. I said, all right, well, let's just find the money and bring her to a prep school. He was saying, no, Shireen, we can't let anybody bully us like that around, So, we spoke to a few people who found out, to try and find out if this was really happening, if this was really an issue and what were our options. I called Ministry of Education.
When you called the ministry, what happened?
First of all, it was hard to get through to someone. Secondly, I reported to school. I wasn't getting any clear guidance as to that. But all in all, my husband kept on telling me, Shireen, she's not going anywhere. She's going to the school and we're not taking off her locks. So I said, all right. I'm like, I'm not for altercations. So I'm like, all right, maybe we come out of here, maybe, because I don't want to go to another school and we're faced with the same thing. He said no. So I said, all right, we're gonna try and get some guidance and see where this goes. So
when it went public now, the school backtracked and they said, no man, she can't come to school.
So how it went public was a funny story. So while she was arguing with me, my husband wasn't there that day, so I just had taken out my phone and started recording the conversation. I shared the recording with my husband. He shared it with some close friends. And like 2 days, was it a day later or 2 days later, I saw it in the papers and I was like, what?
Did it bother you that it had gone public?
No, it didn't. Some people don't talk up for themselves. Some do. And sometimes you need a little extra push and support to really get, things that are for you.
So what's the point at which you and your husband decided, let's go to court over this?
All right, so it was through those articles now. My lawyer, Isaac Buchanan, he was with Jamaican for Justice at the time. He saw the article and he was the one who reached out and pretty much told me it was a violation of all our rights, multiple rights. It was then that I know, okay, this is much more serious than just a little, school altercation.
So it's bigger than that?
It's bigger than that. I mean, I know there are always issues with how, students groom their hair. We hear it every year. But it's until it hits home, until it happens to you, it's a flight or fight situation. You either do something or you roll over and take it.
So you went to the Supreme Court, you lost at the Supreme Court. What was that like?
I was shocked, right? Because after knowing the law, after hearing the law repeated to you, because I think a lot of us don't know what our rights are. So after hearing and seeing what our constitutional rights are, I'm like, okay, we're well within our rights. So this should be an easy win. Was not the case. I remember the day the ruling came out. It was Emancipation Day 2020. The perfect day for it to come out.
I forgot that, yes.
Yeah, man. When I heard it, my heart sunk. I'm like, really? We don't have the law backing us? If they're saying no to us, who am I? I'm very disappointed in the original reading. It was then and there, my lawyer, he said, we're going to take it further. I'm like, really? Because it was a very lengthy process, a lot of filing of paperwork, a lot of affidavits, I just wanted to get back to growing a baby send my kid to school, living a normal life. But again, it was the mandate, the mission behind everything. And I realized it wasn't really about my child anymore, right? If it was my child alone, I would have just taken her out of school, find a next. But it's something that happens over and over and over. And I feel like people in authority bully other people just because they're not in a better position than them.
And I'd read that you had actually set up a GoFundMe account to help to fund the legal expenses.
That is correct. And even that again, you know, persons out there, a lot of persons I don't think a lot of people know how expensive taking on a lawyer is, right? Especially to fight a case that isn't even going to benefit myself alone. And to take on legal capacity, it's a long stretch. I don't come from money, right? So to really take this on and fight it on I wouldn't even say it was on a local level anymore, it was global, you know?
Yes, because the story was picked up all over the world.
Right, it got to Washington Post, CNN, everybody was picking it up because we are the mecca of locks. And to know that our own country doesn't support it, it was a big thing. So we had to take on additional resources.
How much did you end up raising from the GoFundMe?
About 2,000 US. Okay. All right, we had fights here and there, and I said, you know what, babe, let's just shut it down. You know, if we need to find the money elsewhere, we'll just find it somewhere else.
So the Court of Appeal has ruled now, and you're vindicated. You and your family are vindicated. The court has said her rights were violated, her right to freedom of expression.
I'm going to be very honest. And I know when it comes down to law, it's not just about how you feel or what happened. It's just about a lot of technicalities and stuff like that. So I do understand that aspect. But there are so many other rights that I believe should have been vindicated. We only got 2.
You're talking here, suspect about freedom of religion.
Freedom of religion, right. Freedom of family and private life, right.
On the issue of freedom of religion, though, what the court had said is that the school wasn't told initially that the child was wearing dreadlocks because of her religious beliefs, and that you can't then claim a right that you hadn't asserted at the time. And the school also said if they had known, they would have said the policy didn't apply to her.
Again, technicality. Because I did ask, the first day I did ask if it was for religious reason, would I be accepted in your school? And she told me no. Wow. Yeah. But again, technicality. So I'm going to leave it at is. I mean,
picture though.
It is. And I'm very excited about, this milestone. It means a lot to Jamaicans right now. A lot of Jamaicans are celebrating because, it simply means that persons who look like me and you, can have the same opportunities, than the person with the Indian and the straight hair and So it's a big win for us.
What does it say to you though that in 2024, well, you started in 2018, that we need a court ruling to say that, as you say, people who look like me and you can wear locks to school? What does that say about our society, about our education system?
It says a lot. Can you imagine to look natural is a problem? To look, unprocessed. It's really an issue that we have to seek permission. Saying it out loud, it sounds stupid. My child would say stupid is a bad word, but it sounds plain stupid. You don't need to have permission from higher eds to look natural, to, embrace your natural beauty, right? I heard your conversation yesterday about the pink hair. Everything within means what to look natural. It's quite ridiculous to seek permission for that.
All right, stay tuned. When we come back after the break, we'll bring in our guests in studio. We'll also bring in our guests on Zoom. And of course, want to hear from you as well. So you can post us on X. Our hashtag is TVJ All Angles. Soon come.